What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with a meta spy video. I had to look far and wide to find the spy himself, but I was able to do that, and I have the deck on the screen already because I'm excited about it. This deck recently won a big cash tournament that we had, a $500 tournament, and they beat the new FA Dark Lords, believe it or not, and you send yous. So I got PDS here to talk about it. What are we looking at here? Why are we looking at this?
Okay, so your Senjus are a really powerful anti-meta strategy right now. They're really good because they don't. So right now, everyone's they're trying Harpy Ladies, they're trying the Dark Lord deck, they're trying Blue Eyes. So those are probably the three most popular decks, and of course Onomats. So this deck does not really have to commit like their board as frequently as most other decks. So when they summon a monster, it's coming back to their hand during the end phase. So, you can't Gaga bolt them, you can't Vermilion Dragon mech them, you can't Constellar you can't pop it with the Citadel Knight monster, the Deltaros. I'm sorry. And then
Right.
of course, so then you're gonna have to go for the back row, right? You go after the back row, and then they hit you with the Sword Sting. So what does Sword Sting do? If you guys don't know what it does, if you control no monsters, reveal up to 2 Yosenju monsters with different names in your hand. Then target the same number of face-up cards your opponent controls. Return them to the hand. So for the price of just one card, you can spin 2 of their cards back. So it's really powerful against the extra deck monsters. They have the Spirit Dragon. Obviously, they're going to tag out, but you're going to force that tag out. And then, against an Xyz deck, like Onomats, if they haven't True Nated yet, then you can spin their Xyz. Now, let's say they do True Nade you. What's going to happen then? That's what you play. You play your Kairois and you play your OEMs. This deck, it's really hard to OTK them. You're not going to get OTK'd if you're playing this deck. The deck list that you guys are seeing, he chose to play Drowning Mirror Force and Cosmic Cyclones. I kind of like that because Drowning Mirror Force is a way for you to deal with that new FA monster. The FA monster, usually what this deck would do is they're going to bounce back the monster with comma 1. His effect, it lets you, if you have another Yosenju monster, you target a monster in the field and you return it to the hand. Unfortunately, the FA monster is unaffected by level 4 monsters due to its effect. So you use the Drowning Mirror Force or the Sword Sting. That's going to be your way to get it off the field. You don't have to deal with it. A lot of people, they're not expecting the Drowning Mirror Force, so they're going to walk right into it. They're going to use everything in attack. You're just going to drown them. So
And
I really like the deck right now.
Well, this deck, like you were saying, uses the Drowning Mirror Forces. In other versions, we'd see the Battle in Boxer Veil. And the problem with that is if they have over 4,000 attack, you just die. Because the Veil takes effect after you take the damage.
Exactly. So the Drowning Mirror Force, it's better for that reason, and also because it deals with the FA monster because it's a trap card as opposed to a monster card. You can't really use it right now. But yeah, if they hit the FA monster, this deck becomes better because it can go battling Boxer build. So then against Harpies, so it's really nice against Harpies because they rely on their Cyber Slash to deal with your monsters, but your monsters aren't on the field during their turn. So they're gonna have to be using their cards during your turn. They can't ever use anything to like try and get your monster off the field, and then they're gonna walk right into a drowning, or they're gonna walk right into a a Kiteroid or an OEM. They can't really play around that. And Onomats, same thing, TK deck.
Well, we saw when he was playing against, I think it was in the Dark Lord mirror or matchup. He throws the OEM out, and they had no way to boost their attack, so he was able just to sit on his OEM.
Yeah, you can do that against some decks. Dark Lords do have Sanctified, of course, to negate the OEM, but people also forget, OEM is not an activated effect, if I remember correctly.
Well, it asks you each time someone attacks, so you can just keep changing the attack and the defense on it. And maybe it wasn't Dark Lords, but we saw him do that. Maybe it was in the semifinals where the person couldn't boost the attack of their monster, so he was just able to sit there and just play defense all day.
Yeah, you could totally just stall with the OEM against certain decks, especially just off the top of my head, Thunder Dragons definitely one of the decks where they just can't really deal with it. They have to like put it back to your hand and you just use it again.
Right.
So yeah.
No, I think this deck is a lot of fun. And then it does have a cheese win condition, which if you play into, it's your own fault. Which is the, what is it? The Utopia Ray.
Right, yes.
Yes,
So when
that
your
is
life
just
points are
so
lower
great.
than yeah, when your life points are lower than 1,000, this deck really easily gets out the rank 4s. So you have easy access to Utopia and the Utopia Ray. And you can get rid of cards like the Twin Burst, which is also something I like that this deck against decks that use the extra deck a lot. The comma 1 and the swords sting really, they're really powerful against them
Oh,
because
it's devastating. Yeah.
yes, yeah, you're not returning it to the hand, you're returning it to the extra deck. So like let's say they summon, they use 2 monsters for an Xyz summon and you just get rid of it. And then they don't get their monsters back. So it's really powerful against those decks.
Yeah, you make
So
them remake their board again. It's great. That's why it's so
yes.
frustrating at times to play against it. And then they know that you have that comma 1 in your hand again.
Right.
You know.
So around the board, let's see what is their good matchups. So Blue Eyes, I'd say it's a pretty decent matchup. Only thing is, of course, if they play a Spirit Dragon, you might have some troubles with it since they're banishing your back row. But I think the matchup is actually pretty good for them. You can stall for a long time, and you can just start spinning all their cards with combo 1. So it's really, I think it's in their favor, honestly. And then for the Starcraft Dark Lords, I think this is going to be one of your bad matchups because they have access to
Yeah.
the if they're playing especially the FA version, and then of course they're gonna have access to Sanctified, which is really gonna interrupt you, and it's even gonna make your Yosenju stick to the board at the end phase, so that's really gonna hurt.
Right. Usually it's I
So
summon you send you comma 2, negate, turnover. I was like, oh
right,
man.
so that's why
Which also negates your sword sting and your Oyam because you can't
yes.
have anything on the board to use those. Yeah, that's a
So
tough
that's
matchup.
why, the Chalice is a nice tech in the side deck because you can negate the Dark Lord monsters and you can negate the FA monsters. So it's really powerful in that regard.
Yeah.
So then against Harpies, I'd say it's a really good matchup because they don't really have a way to play around back row cards. So you're playing like some of the best back row in the game. They do have their Swallow's Nest, and they have their they might be playing a Lance or a Book of Moon. But when you hit them with Drowning, it's really gonna hurt them because they're gonna lose like probably at least 2 monsters because they like to spam the board. So
And they
they have
can't
to either
grind the way
yeah,
Yusendjus can
exactly.
grind. Yeah.
Exactly. And then against Automats, honestly, Automats is probably the most free matchup for this deck. They absolutely steamroll Automats like crazy. Like you can't even make Automats, what's their big thing? They sack you with Trunade and they push, right? That's their
Right.
This deck does not really lose to that because you have Kyroid and you have Oyam, and Oyam is searchable by comma 3. So you have a lot, and obviously you can draw into it with the Isna. If you don't open it, you can draw into some of those cards to try and not get OTK'd. But yeah, you don't really have to worry about OTKs. And then if they make a push, you get your Destiny draw. So you're really, you're being a really good spot on the following turn. So
Yeah, and this deck is great because if you're patient, you can beat them in 5 turns usually, right? 'Cause
exactly,
you just keep attacking with that comma 2. You just attack with comma 2, bring it back to the hand and pass. And after a while,
yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I'm on a timer now."
And then of course the best part is the deck is pretty budget, I'd say.
Oh yeah, it
You
is.
know,
It's all in the Ritual Beast box, and then is it the Ninja Melodious box? You just get
yeah,
the comma 1 from.
exactly, yeah.
This is one of
So
my favorite decks. I love playing this
I
deck.
I I played this deck when it came out in TCG. I love it too. It's one of my favorite decks.
Oh god, I can't. I hope
Yeah.
there's more support in the future for it.
There's a pendulum on. It's actually a pendulum archetype, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's like pendulum, quote unquote. It has like these little I don't know what they're called. They're like statues or something, and you can use them as like always having a Senju on the field, but it's in the spell and trap zone. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
you don't have
okay,
to actually
okay.
have one. So
Nice.
like that counter trap. I don't know if you're aware of the counter trap.
No, I'm
Like we
not
have it
aware.
in the game, but it's not as good. You need to have your Senju on the field, so that's a
Oh,
problem.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the little pendulum thing, it counts as a Yosenju. Anyways, it's a good card, but
Okay.
it's not as good. So and then you can main deck a lot of the free to play stuff. So Kyroid, that's awesome in that deck.
Boxer
You know, the
Veil
Shadow,
works, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Battling Boxer Veil, really budget hand trap. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, another
Yep.
great, you know, Shadow Light Imprison. You could main deck those cards. Lava Golem, even Lava Golem. You bring it back with comma 1, you can Lava Golem them again, like
Yep.
on a following turn, and you don't even have to worry about, you know, oh man, they're gonna beat me in for 3,000. Well, it doesn't matter because you have, you know, you have Kyro, you have OAM.
You could use
You don't care.
original Karibo. You could use Temperance. I mean, just anything.
Yeah, as long as you're saving your life points to
Yeah.
trigger Destiny Draw, you're fine. So there's a lot of different ways to play this deck, but yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I hope you guys like it. And if you do, let us know in the comments below. Like I said, this is one of my favorite decks to play, so I hope you guys enjoy it as well. But what you should do for sure is get in our Discord. You know why? Because it's free. The tournaments are free. The new player help is free. We do a lot of fun stuff in there, so make sure to check that out. We're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's PDS.
See you later, guys.
And we'll see you next time.